GM. GM. This is Friday, the 2nd of February. Daily levels. Let's take a look at what's coming. So, first thing, a mini rant. There are no professional short sellers in crypto. You need to understand that. There are market makers who are contractually obliged to go short. There are some traders who go short and long. But if you know about TradFi, there's a such thing as a short seller who's the only direction they trade is short. They don't exist in crypto because they don't survive. And I was actually just thinking about it this morning. Because, of course, if there's ever a time you don't want to short, it's in a bull market year. But then I was just thinking, why would you ever short anyway? Imagine looking back 30 or 40 years from now and realizing that you missed generational wealth because you were shorting some fucking token. And you're shorting at the beginning of a new technology. And also, there's a great phrase which goes, bears sound smart, but bulls make money. Which is true. Think about this, and it's really ego that gets bears wrecked. Because when you want to short sell something, you have this big elaborate thesis. This is how the short sellers, and again, I have no problem with short selling. I've shorted a bunch, and I will short again. But my point is about being like a permanent bear, which just hasn't worked for 16 years in crypto, and I don't think it's going to start working now. 15 years. So these perma bears, and you see them in the stock market too. There's perma bears that were bearish on Tesla for the last 10 years and got blown out on every leg up. And now the Tesla actually looks like it's finally fucked, right? Tesla actually looks really bad now. I've got the old halving indicator on. But there were people that made it their career, literally made it their career, to be bearish Tesla for 10 years. Got blown out every step of the way, blown out. And literally, I don't mean, haha, you got wrecked. No, they're literally blown out. Their funds were liquidated. And so good short sellers understand this, and they know when to play the trade and when to remove their ego. Because the only reason you would remain bearish on Tesla when it's in an uptrend for 10 years is ego. Same goes for crypto. You just look at Bitcoin. Like the bears call it tulips. Tulips never went like that. Tulip mania went like this. That was tulip mania. This isn't tulips. This is the adoption cycle of a once in a lifetime technology. So just a little reminder there. But the part about, I think it can be tempting for you to not want to be bullish at times, because basically you look around and everyone's bullish and you're in the same boat as a bunch of idiots, as well as smart people, as well as everyone. That's just a bull market. This is where you really have to not overthink it. Because that quote, bears sound smart, bulls make money, is so true. Bears do always sound smart. Look at all the macro fucking retards last year with all their nice elaborate thesis about why there's going to be a recession. It all looked great. It all sounded great. It was all feasible. It all makes sense. Right? It's not like none of it is, none of it's completely just made up, falsified. It's an interpretation of data, but the bear always needs to justify his position. The bull doesn't. Because the human condition, the tendency of all markets is just to go up and to the right because of monetary debasement. And Bitcoin exists exactly for that reason. And then there's new tech being built within crypto. Most of it a scam, but there is some real stuff being built. And again, if you're building something from zero, it's going to rise. And as it gets adopted, it's going to rise. So the reason why bulls don't need to be smart is because they're on the right side of history. If you're on the right side of history, you don't need to have an elaborate thesis. You can just say, there aren't enough Bitcoin on the planet for everyone who's going to want a Bitcoin. Simple. There's 19 million of them. There probably will never be more than about 19.5 million. There's a 21 million hard cap, but there's a million in Satoshi's wallet, and there's probably another million that have been lost. So there'll probably never be more than 19 million. Really. And that's just fundamentally not enough. It will soon be the scarcest asset on the planet within 50 years probably. And the most valuable. It's in the top 10 assets globally, all assets. It's number 10. Gold is number 1 currently by value. But Bitcoin's better in basically every single way. And it's inevitable, right? So I think we know that. But just a reminder that as we go through the bull market, your fellow participants are going to get more and more retarded, and that's fine. It's just how it goes, right? Everyone will be right for a while. You don't need to try and be smarter than them by getting bearish. It's not going to end well if you do. So, as for right now, there's a couple of paths I'm seeing on the low time frames, and then monthly preview. I'm going to drop that in a few hours. Monthly preview is going to show a lot more detail around Bitcoin, altcoins, and liquidity. But here's roughly what I'm looking at. This obviously isn't for today, unless we get a fucking crash. But in a simple sense, I see this gap, this order block. I see it getting filled. The longer we go without filling it, the more people are going to think, oh, 40k is not going to get revisited. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will, because there's still people that are waiting for 38, 36, 34, 32. So coming to 40 is nothing. That will only get those people even more excited. The bears. The doomers. And just the people who want to buy back lower. But they won't want to buy at 40k, because they didn't want to buy at 40k over here. They won't want to buy at 40k again. It'll flush out, little bear trap, and away we go. I think that's is my most likely path. Not saying it comes straight down, but whenever, if